Hey guys, this is Leon. I'm your host for Passion and Profession, and what we're going to talk about is exactly that. I'm inviting guests to talk about what drives us, to talk about how we can actually put this in the world to create value, and how we're going to share this with each other and with other people on this platform. Looking forward to hearing you afterwards, and have fun with this episode.
Yes, yeah.
All right.
Okay, so let's keep it like that because that would be much, much easier to edit if we're gonna use it for content.
True. Oh,
Because then we have like the story format.
She getting into it. Nice.
Yes.
I like it. I'm also figuring out these little quirks. Like, for example, today I recorded a video and I just had this, my ambient sound tribal music in the background.
Yeah,
And then TikTok was like, "Hey, this video might be muted because you can't use this audio, and then
right.
use a different music." And I was like, I didn't want to put music, but I also had like a really nice run in talking. So yeah, I'm just gonna see if it's gonna be muted or not.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn with the whole content, becoming content creator.
I guess, yeah.
It's a lot.
How is it? How is it for you? Please tell me.
It's been a really, really interesting journey because I never thought in my life that I would be comfortable doing it. And I've tried many times in the past, like being a musician and a
Mm,
singer to try and make like authentic content, speak in front of a camera. And I found it so unnatural and like very forced and very, very difficult. And this time around, because I feel like I've really found my motivation, like my calling, my like I have such a there is so much energy in what I'm doing, and like I really just have to be myself fully, and I'm not like promoting a song over and over and over and over again.
mm,
I can actually like mix up the content, talk about new things every day, and like and that has I don't know, I've actually really had fun with it. I've been like enjoying it. I've like been
no,
been feeling excited about making content, and I've never had that before, so that's a completely new kind of experience of flow of that. um and then of course, because I've worked with social media a lot, like professionally, and things like that, and now I get to use those skills finally, and like film, I studied like filmmaking and all of these things, and I get to use it now for my own stuff. Um and that comes in handy. There's a lot of reasons, like I can see now why my journey has looked like it has, because I can pick up on all these little skills
nice.
here and there that is
Mm.
very helpful right now in my
Oh, that's
life.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. But having said that, there's still, of course, like there's still stuff around. Like I know I'm not where I want to be, but the only way to get
That's
there
interesting.
is
I
like
wanna I
have to
wanna
do
know
it.
more about that. I wanna know more about that. I wanna know more about visualization, and especially because we did the course, right? Or we're doing the course,
Yeah.
and there's a lot about the like future you visualization. My mic is slowly dropping every couple of
Yep.
minutes, so I just need to adjust this really carefully without making too much noise.
Yep.
So whenever you realize it and I don't, please let me know. I
Yeah,
can
sure. I'll try and keep.
slowly go down again. No one, like in the course that we're doing right now, right? The Conscious Business Accelerator. I feel like one of the most powerful tools for me was the this visualization, this like actually getting in the zone. And I already had a lot of limitations there. Like I was afraid to visualize myself successful.
Yeah.
I haven't figured out everything yet, but like just getting in the zone, sitting down and imagining the best version of myself in the future
Mm,
was something where I had some kind of reluctance to.
yeah.
And just now getting into it and making a habit out of it. And I also want to do that every day now. Just the visualization, even if it's just 5 minutes, getting back in the zone. I personally, right now, it might change in the variants, but I want to be a self actualization. No, that's actually not the right word. I don't know. I still haven't figured it out completely, but like something in terms of influencer online about leadership and how emotional regulation and self-awareness can kind of contribute to your leadership style, right?
Mm,
Rather
mm.
than just the skills of knowing how to use the tools for HR or whatever. Like rather,
Yeah, a bit more embodied.
exactly like how to be a kind of role model leader, and then me trying to figure out my own, what do I want to be a role model for? And then that in a visualization helped me so much. Like
Mm.
just understanding, okay, what do I actually want to do? Instead of just bouncing around and never really tapping into it. It's such a powerful tool.
Oh yeah, it's so powerful. And it's like when you do it exactly like in an embodied way, because I think I've in the past I've done a lot of spiritual practice or, this type of things and meditations and writing down what I want, but it's been quite like from a cognitive place. And it's been kind of like, I want to be here, but like, I haven't
Yeah.
allowed myself, like, how do I feel that? How would I feel if I was that? Like, what is stopping me? And it's been really profound for me as well. It's part of the work that I've been doing leading up to doing this course as well. But this course has also kind of like amplified that same
Nice.
thread in a sense of just like really feeling into like on a spiritual level, on an energetic level, like what is in the way for me to embody this reality that I want to step into. Um, so yeah, it's been really, really cool
I
and
was
very
I
important.
was gone there for like like a couple of seconds. I don't know
Right.
what the last part was that you said. Sorry, my connection is a bit weird.
Yeah, no worries. What did you miss? So I
Just the
think,
last couple of words. Yeah.
yeah, no, I think just like doing it. Huh. Oh no, now my brain has gone blank. Um,
Just doing it is always nice. It's also
just
something.
doing it, yeah, like in an embodied way and like really, really getting that imprint of like energetically, what
Hmm.
does it feel like to step into this reality that I'm actually creating for myself? And then what is in the way? So it becomes very obvious, right? Like what is stopping me from that?
Hmm.
And then it's like, oh yeah, like my relationship with money, my relationship with
Mm.
success,
Hmm.
like this feeling of like drifting, like faithfulness of like, no, I
Hmm.
couldn't do that to my family. Like it would change the dynamics in my family if I was successful. And I have to be faithful to my family by being a little bit behind everyone else. That's my role. That's where I fit in. Um, so kind of like if I were the one to kind of be like,
Yeesh.
hello, look at me, I'm the most successful, like, that just it doesn't
They
fit
wouldn't
with,
accept it. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. What I took away from one of the live sessions that we had.
Oh yeah, I didn't
Sorry
notice.
about that. From one of the live sessions, it's definitely something to improve. Was when he was talking to like, when he called up the one person live after he did his workshop, and then just to have like this kind of hot seat question Q&A.
Mm,
And this guy was saying that it was actually a bit very abstract for me because he was saying something like, yeah, there is the devil and he's disguising as light and kind of, yeah, trying to bring him down or whatever. Like that was a bit like oof. Um, and in the end, Aaron, mad respect for his coaching skills. Especially because like he didn't study it all his life. He just, became a coach and then he learned all of the skills. Great. I love that. But he was basically talking to him about that. Like he was asking, is there maybe in your past a story that you've been telling yourself or that you've like grown into about us versus them? And
mm,
then it kind of, it became clear that the guy on the hot seat was actually a bit of a, the world is against me. There's dark forces trying to bring me down. And there was patterns in the past. So I mean it wasn't really solved in the coaching, the life part, but there was parts where he kind of had the story in himself that it's always going to be us or me versus them.
mm,
And then like you said right now, right? Like this, okay, I see myself as always the one that is a step behind.
yeah.
And it's such a powerful tool to like question the patterns, not just in your behaviors, but also in your perception of
Mm,
things. Like,
yeah.
what is my filter? What glasses do I have on? And for me, it's, for example, this, I need to fix the relationships around me.
Yeah.
So really I'm going down and then I'm gonna bring it back up later. Um, I need to fix the relationships around me, especially the ones closest to me, so everyone feels happy.
Yeah.
And then that always brings me in a role where where I don't care for myself and where I intervene with relationships I have no part of. Like that,
Yeah.
this is not my place. It wasn't my place when I was a child. No one told me.
Yeah.
And it's not my place now. So
Mm,
I can save my energy because I need it for myself and maybe for one or both of the people, but individually when they come to me, not when they're trying to deal with something between themselves.
yeah.
Yeah, big learning for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that kind of, yeah, that feeling of unsettled, like I'm unsettled when other people are unsettled and like, yeah, merging too much with that. I mean, that's something that for me anyway has been something holding me back a lot in life, that people pleasing kind of
Mm.
tendency of kind of, oh wow, people are unhappy and then I feel all of it. It is like I'm
Let's go to
so
work.
uncomfortable because everyone else is uncomfortable and I have to do something about it. But it's like realizing that kind of like, whoa, okay, like I can take care of my own energy and protect my own energy and then see things like from outside of that protected energy and just observe it, not attached to it. And then I'm so much more powerful and so much more helpful to everyone from that space rather than me being like attached to it. But it's so easy to become, like identified,
Yeah,
especially when it's like family or
yeah.
partner or close friends. Like,
I feel like this,
uh,
especially when you're trying, like when you're coming from the space where you're bringing your own stuff in, because it's
mm,
like whenever you feel, I feel like whenever you're in not your relationship, right? Like in a relationship between two other people and you were brought in there for whatever reason to mediate or like maybe let's say to mediate, yeah. So you
yeah,
have an actual role. People ask you to help. If you go in there, I really feel like it's your responsibility to be aware of yourself because you're somewhat of a leader there. And once you realize that you have an emotional response, you
mm,
should withdraw and you should be transparent and make that clear because from that
yeah,
point on, you're not going to be objective. Like it doesn't
yeah,
mean that you're on one of the person's sides, but you're definitely on your side and you're
yeah.
not objective anymore. So you can not necessarily just carry the messages through.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's right. Just voicing it, I think is important. And like don't like you have to bring yourself into the picture as well. You can't be completely separate from it and just be like, hey, I'm a human as well. And
Yeah.
I'm having an experience over here. Um, given that we either continue or we take a pause or yeah, whatever. But yeah,
I love it that
it's
we're
very
just going into the like, we can go any rabbit hole. Like
yes,
I
there's
don't
so many.
care. But I wanted to ask about what your future visualization, if you want to share it,
Sure.
what your future visualization was in terms of, I mean, the podcast is called Passion and Profession, right? So we're kind of working our way into the future visualization is hopefully both in our cases.
Mm.
So I'd be very interested in what your picture looks like. What does he, okay, let me be Aaron for a second. What do you feel, act, and believe? No, feel, act, and think as your future self.
Yes. So that's a good question. I feel, act, and think, you said. So in terms of feeling, I feel very, I mean, strong in my power, centered. Like I feel very centered. I feel like spacious. Like I can hold a lot and
Mm,
not get overwhelmed. So this feeling of just like, okay, I'm in my center. I can unhook whenever I choose to, like a bit wider, spacious awareness. Powerful when it comes to like speaking up, being able to talk, being able to use my throat, my throat chakra, like being open and not being afraid to speak up, whatever it is. And fully, yeah, I always tap into like integrity, authenticity, unconditional love. So fully being centered in those three things. So being able to love myself and the people around me, even when even when people are acting out, even when I see
mhm.
projection from other people, that I can just like, okay, I see what's happening. I still love you, I still love you. So that's kind of tapping into the feeling. And then I guess a bit of the acting is as well, like acting from a place of, you know, from a place of being centered and being connected to me, my boundaries, and being able to look after myself in a yeah. look after myself in a clear way. And so I know I hear my own voice. I don't ignore my own voice, what like energetically or what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. Um, and say speaking the simplest things that you don't normally kind of think that you can say, like for example we talked about this holding space for other people, and you
Hmm.
think like I'm the space holder so I have to be, I can't
Hmm.
involve myself, but then being able to say the simple thing of like, hey, you know what, when you said that, it made me a little bit uncomfortable, and
Hmm.
just voicing these little
Nice.
things to kind
Hmm.
of, they just it shifts so much when we just say the, in a sense, the obvious or the simplest thing that we can say. A lot of the time that's the thing that we like don't say for some reason. So yeah, becoming a bit more aware of that. And then in terms of like thinking, my relationship to myself, being, kind, gentle, loving, um, being patient and spacious with myself. Um,
I
and
love the word spacious.
it's such a good
It's
word.
yes, it's so beautiful. You have
It
just
says so
it's
much.
it's not just you're strong and you can hold it or you're not overwhelmed, but actually giving it that name of your spacious
Mm.
for that's yeah, beautiful. I really like it and I'm definitely gonna take it.
Great. Yeah, I think it's a great word. It says a lot. It's that feeling of like being responsive. Like I can respond to a situation because I'm spacious. I'm not like contracted. Um, so yeah, and I guess I might have missed something in the visualization exercise that you're specifically talking about because I'm still catching up on some of the things.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping I'm on the right track with what you're asking here. But yeah, in the wider sense, like I've realized that I really want to work with people closely. I want to do more workshops, do spiritual coaching, like do coaching from a place of like really just like helping people to feel and remember their hearts, because there's so much that we do to close our hearts down all the time and live,
That's
yeah.
beautiful.
And as
Thank
we
you.
go to work and things like that, it's like, oh, I can't take my heart with me to work. I have to put my heart in a box and then I have to be productive and I have to be
Mhm.
this and this. But actually, like, what if you brought your heart with you everywhere you went?
Mhm.
But it's
It's gonna be
hard
just
to,
richer. It's like
yes,
everything would be richer if everyone brought their hearts in and more connected and different world. Can I
different
ask you
world.
something about the throat chakra?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you were part of the breath work, right?
Yes.
The
Yeah.
somatic breath work. I gotta help my buddy out here. Mm, I gotta fix that.
Maybe see,
Um,
maybe try angling like this bit, like up like that a bit. Maybe that could help with like the
but
weight, not like gravity.
that's what you mean. Oh, that's gonna
Yeah,
be
like a bit
loud.
like that, and
My
then
apologies.
taking it down.
It's gonna help with the gravity. That's a beautiful sentence.
We gotta
Okay.
work with
Yeah.
gravity, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we do. We do. I mean, all the time, right?
Yeah, we do.
Um, so yeah, the somatic breath work exercise
Mm,
was insane. So I
yeah,
guess like quick explanation, it was a 45-minute live call where we did a breathwork slash meditation where Victor Odo, one of the coaches of the program, was guiding us through a very heavy and intense breathwork session, kind of close to the Wim Hof method, if you guys like know that. And essentially, it was a spiritual experience. Like for me, it was insane. From the first time that we had to hold our breath, I started crying, and there was so much tension in my throat that needed to get out. Why I'm asking about the throat chakra? Because it's really something that I want to get into. I want to understand why am I holding back my voice? Why am I holding back the one of the most powerful tools that I have in terms of communication? Why am I not saying the small things just because, small things can't come through? And
yeah,
then opening it up more, singing more, like hearing my own voice. I fucking love my voice. Like
yeah,
especially
great.
now in the microphone and the headphones. I love it. It's such a beautiful tool that I have. I
Yeah,
want to use that more. I want to expand its capabilities. And I did a couple of workshops. Like as a kid, I was working as a voice actor. And then
great.
kind of, I mean, you heard
Awesome.
it, right? Like in the live call, working as a voice actor, and then gradually over puberty, I was like losing my voice.
Mm,
And then that was a heavy part of my life where I never really recovered until or healed until now, I think.
mm,
And I'm trying to come back to it. I'm really trying to come back to hearing myself. And then I did like a voice acting workshop for a couple of months, like last year or something, to find my way back.
mm.
And voice acting wasn't it. But like you said, everything feels like aligning, and my life kind of feels like it's prepared me for doing podcasts. And
Yeah, awesome.
like seriously,
It makes
like
sense.
the best thing is I the sentence I don't have any excuses anymore. It's
Mm,
so true. Just like there's people tell like I'm just recording myself from my phone in my car, and people are like, you should do a podcast for us and for you. Like it's such
mm.
a beautiful thing to say because obviously it would be healing for me too, right? To just
Yes.
talk about it and
Yeah.
give it a voice. I need to talk about it. I need to express myself. I
Yeah.
also, like you, want to help people feel like be not afraid to feel. Open
Mm,
yourself up. Be aware that you can always feel. You have always the right to feel in whatever
mm.
circumstance. And then kind of, yeah, how to remember that, but also how to remember to express yourself and be strong and capable in your journey and in your
Mm.
message. So not only talk about it, but share, like
Yeah.
share something that you have to give. Other people need it. Good call
Yes.
with the microphone. Still gotta fix it. This is gonna be an ongoing story. Ding. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing your vision, by the way. I feel like you changed so much in terms of what, like in my view and what I've seen from you,
Mm.
just because you are, it feels like just yet one more veil has been lifted.
Yeah, that's exactly how it feels. That's how it feels. And I was talking to a friend about this feeling like for some people, like they'll look at me and be like, oh, Ellie's so different, or like, but and it feels different and it is different, but it's not that I have become a new person. It's that I've stripped away so much that I have become who I really have been the whole time. I have just been swallowed in a lot of sadness and grief and trauma. And like it has just like layers of that has been kind of, I've not been
Hmm.
able to access like my own light, my own voice, my own power, right? So being able to finally kind of get through like through all the healing work and everything and finally come back to like there I am, and like wow. And sometimes I
Yeah.
just feel like a lion, honestly, like
Oh,
this like
same.
bah, like where is this power? But it's been there the whole time, but it's
Hmm.
been also not accessible to me. But yeah, and speaking about the throat chakra, I've had so much resistance in my throat chakra as well. And I'm wearing actually this little crystal thing right now is particularly for the throat chakra. So I thought
That's a
I wear it
beautiful one.
today
What is
because
that?
we're on a podcast. I can't remember what this one is called actually, but I can find out because I took a photo of it when I bought it.
It's a
But
pretty one.
it's a blue, yeah, and I made this little necklace myself, and I just kind of like just wanted to work with my throat chakra like a few months ago. Um, and I did a few different exercises to like unblock my throat chakra and things like that.
It looks like it worked. Or
And
it
it
sounds
is
like it worked.
something is has changed. And another thing I just wanted to mention, because the sound, like making sound in general, not just our voices, but like making sound is like
Hmm.
one of the most healing things.
Hmm.
You mentioned the throat as like such a powerful tool, right? And it really is such a powerful tool when it comes to like healing things and
Hmm.
moving things in our body. And when we're children, we make noise all the time. And like we
True.
sit and like, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. Like, we just get like, bleh. It
True.
doesn't matter
True.
if it's pretty or if it's like, we just like enjoy the sounds of our voice and kind of like emotionally regulate through sound and things like that. And
Express
then,
ourselves. Yeah,
yeah. And
totally.
then we get older and then it's kind of like be quiet and we get
Hmm.
afraid of taking space. And um, it just doesn't become socially acceptable anymore. But one of the things that has brought me back is this. being able to make sound again, allowing myself, like, no matter what it sounds like, just tuning into like a sensation in my body and then just like voicing that sensation, in a sense manifesting that sensation
Hmm.
into something more concrete that I can like actually feel and in a different way and observe in a different way. um and that's been very, very powerful. That feels
I
that's
feel
been
that a lot. Yeah.
uh,
Just also like in meditations to kind of like whatever the situation is in a meditation to allow yourself from the breath, give it just a little bit more, and
mm,
then hear yourself not just breathing out, but kind of being like a mm.
mm,
And I love the just
yeah, they it's
the
powerful.
sound and the connection and the I I mean I haven't really obviously felt myself that it's everything that it can be, right? Like everything that it's said to be able to do, connect you with
Mm.
whatever waves in your body, but it just the bare fact that I feel my throat and my chest and my the top of my head and my heart and like my whole body is so it has such a nice resonance, such a
Yeah,
nice vibration, and
exactly.
I feel home in myself, and
Yeah,
that's gorgeous. I really like
uh,
that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly like you're choosing it as like the vibration that you're feeling right in that moment, and just like that conscious like that frequency, that vibration of and really like ooh, it does, yeah, it really resonates quite strongly.
Quick question.
Yeah.
In terms of the passion and profession theme, can you or do you want to? I mean, I would like to also share what my visualization was, but
Yes, I would
also
love
I
to
would
hear it.
love to know, like, well, what is it that your future you does? So you said the coaching, you said the energy healing workshops, and personally, I don't really believe in naming and defining and putting it in a box because then I
Yeah.
only want to break out of that box.
Yes.
But what is it
Fair.
like? I thought about maybe, giving it your personal feelings. Like how is what you're gonna do
Mm,
gonna make you feel?
mm,
And what do you hope to create in others in terms of feelings?
yeah. I mean, really, the simplest way that I could break it down is probably like truly, truly becoming more and more of me. And that
Mm,
is the
oh,
real thing.
beautiful.
And then helping other people just become who they are. Like, because yeah, we block so much. And I've started to feel and embody this feeling of like, wow, I found me. And when I'm in that place, it's like it changes everything. It changes my relationship with everything. And the work that I do, it becomes just me being me, right? Like it's not this, I have to now put on this mask or this hat and do this thing. But it's like I just show up in the same way in my work that I would show up, in life. And that's really kind of where I want to be, at that level where I can, you know, really live the truth that I'm preaching, if that makes sense, like fully, fully step into that
Yeah,
and become more of me. Um,
perfect role model in my eyes. Yeah,
oh, yeah, it's
it is. If you embody all the virtues that you believe
mm,
would make the world a better place,
mm,
then for me that's the definition of a role model. It doesn't
mm,
mean in what area or if all the virtues are actually saving the planet
yeah,
and saving us and saving whatever we're connected to, but
mm,
just you in your mission authentically being able to lead people who go in the same direction as a role model. That's my goal.
yeah,
That's my
yes,
goal.
I love that. I have this also, like, I read this book by a shaman recently, and one of the chapters is called like "Be Your Own Damn Guru," and I
Yes.
just love that because it's this idea of like that's really what I want to do. I don't want to be like a guru that people come to and like give me advice from up there. I want to be like, no, let me help you become the source of all your own wisdom and your like,
Yeah.
all you need is you. You just need to find the keys really to like
Yeah.
unlock that, and then it's all there. Like you don't really need to go to anyone, to find the solution. Like it's in you, but it can be hard to get to that point where
I gotta
you
tell you a
embody
story real
that.
quick.
Yes,
I
please.
gotta tell you a really weird story. No, it's not weird. It's just like my brain being so in the process of me figuring out who I was and what I actually wanted to be. Sometimes I was using weed kind of as a, marijuana as a kind of as a meditation. So I
Mm,
would sit at home alone, put on some nice music, put on some nice setting like scenic lights, etc., grab a bottle of water or maybe a tea, and then smoke a joint and journal for
yeah.
like 3 hours. And sometimes there would be like 8 pages of journaling, just stuff that comes out. And um, usually, I don't know, 7 out of 10 things are like, okay, you are high, so not everything makes sense, right? But like, out of these three things that are there, and I reflect on it on what I wrote the next day, and
Mm,
out of these three things, there's at least one that is actually a game changer.
mm,
That is like actually something for my life where I thought of it a different way. And with the journaling, I can kind of, work against the lack of short-term memory. And
yeah.
then I have that the next day, and then I can reflect on it. And then that's like the most powerful questions that I could ask myself
Mm,
by just giving me to that state. And I realized if I do it too often, so if I do it once a week, it's okay.
mm,
If I do it once a month, it's beautiful. If
mm,
I do it every couple of days, it's too much
yeah.
because I can't reach that state and I don't have the switch
Yeah.
that gets me out of the box.
Yeah.
And
Makes sense.
one of the things that came up there was at some point I just started to call friends or even my stepdad. And in the beginning, it was a bit like I was like, "Hey, dude, I'm high. Sorry, can I talk to you really quick?" And then from the get-go, they were like, "Yeah, dude, what are you talking about? Like, huh? You're just high. You're stoned. Come on, chill out. Like, don't worry about
Yeah.
things." And it wasn't that I wanted to worry. It was that I wanted to explore.
Mm,
I wanted to explore mindsets, patterns, like
yeah.
philosophy, and that was also when I realized like my connection to everything because at some point I got so deep in my
Mm,
thinking and I let my head just go crazy. And at one point I realized I'm like everything is everything.
mm,
Not everything is one and one is everything, but everything is everything.
right.
And that was so magic and like thinking about okay the world came from this insane amount of energy that was just bursting right and now
Mm,
we're being humans and we're just chopping up things still and like from the time that we figured out that we can cut things we're still cutting things right
yeah.
we're like basically progressing by cutting things and now we're like cutting atoms and even
Yeah.
smaller increments that I don't even know what they're called but we're cutting them and there's more energy so who says that the big energy and the small energy like
Mm, mm, mm.
patterns.
Yes.
What I wanted to get at actually, why it's so crazy, and I think I'm procrastinating to get to the point a bit, um, is that at one point I thought like, because I started calling my friends and didn't tell them I was high. So at one point I thought like, what if these shamans back in the day, they were always sitting on huts, like, like a little bit elevated huts. That's what I read up then. And
Mm,
then sometimes there was like fumes underneath the hut.
mm.
And then they were burning some stuff. So they were
Yeah.
like always a bit trippy, right?
Yeah.
And then it helps with the short-term memory. So it's the best client privilege,
Yeah.
client professional privilege because they don't remember,
Hmm.
but they're kind of elevated and
Mm,
they have a different perspective on things. And when I was high and I was talking to friends, even though I called them, in the end of the talk, they had something that they to told me like days later, dude, that what you said there really resonated with me. Thank you.
right. Right.
And I never told them that I was high.
Yeah.
Right? So it's actually like I don't want to say like it might make you a better coach or whatever. Like really, it's for me, it's a difficult thing to balance just because if I do
Mm,
too much, it doesn't work that way anymore, and it's more of a,
yeah.
like my ritual. But I feel like being a guru of what we think about that might just be people aligning with their purpose
Mm,
and then being in a different zone, and you can get high by breath work as well, right? And
yeah.
then just being a bit more out of the box
Mm,
when you talk to them. So that's
yeah.
the guru.
Yeah. Same with meditation, but yeah, plant medicine in general can be so, so, so useful sometimes, right? To just like get that elevated perspective and yeah, unhook a little bit from like the same story. Like you get
Mm,
stuck in the same story of being like, I'm a human, I do this and this and this and this. And then you have like pattern interrupt
hmm.
with, yeah, like you say, this ritual, for example, is
Interrupting the
you're
pattern. Yeah.
interrupting the same old pattern. You get to see some a new perspective. Your brain is all of a sudden doing different circuits, right? Can be so valuable. Sorry.
Mm,
Sorry,
don't make
it's
me
just
laugh.
sorry, it's just when you looked at me.
Yeah, because you were silent for a second, and I was like, "Why are you not talking? I'm drinking. Come on." Okay, but I actually
I
don't
was
feel any.
finished with my sentence. Um,
Fair enough. I
no,
don't
but
feel
I was,
uncomfortable with talking in the podcast, by the way. I feel really comfortable right now. Thank you
yeah, I
very
feel
much.
very comfortable as well. I feel like I'm just talking to a friend, which I am.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. I would like to ask you as well, unless you had anything more to say about that, about your visualization. I'd love to hear more about that.
Oh yeah. Um, yes, let's do that. I would like to take my sweatshirt off, but I don't have anything underneath, so I'm just gonna open the window really quick.
Yep, fair enough.
Right. Yeah, my visualization was actually kind of it kind of changed over the days that I tried to get into it. Um, at first, I saw myself standing in a flat and then kind of meeting up with a client and having like this beautiful sunlight like really running over the floor of my flat and then being in a healthy mood and I felt competent and confident and going out on the street and then I'm meeting a client in a cafe for a first discovery call, right? And then I was like, whenever I imagined myself, I was doing something around coaching and I was doing something around helping people.
Mm,
And I think the last visualization that I did that was actually really powerful, what was the content? Most of my energy was definitely dedicated to elevation.
mm,
And it doesn't matter if it was me being elevated. So I, in my future self, was reading every day, just something that I'm interested in. And it doesn't need to be one book a month. It just
mm,
needs to be a little bit every day
yeah.
as a habit. It was getting up early to see the sun.
Mm,
It was being connected to myself and
mm.
being connected to whatever is around me. I am having a bit of a harder time connecting to a city than Sri Lanka,
Right.
for
Yeah.
example, just
I want to
because
talk to you about that later. But yeah, let's put a pin in that.
lack of nature.
No. No.
But yeah, I felt proud. I felt really proud of
Mm,
what I was doing. And whatever the specifics are of what I'm going to be doing, I want to be proud of it. And I'm proud of it now. I'm proud of the step of liberating myself
mm,
and actually, like you said, interrupting the pattern. I'm proud that I successfully interrupted and keep interrupting my patterns.
yeah.
And that for years now.
Yeah.
I've changed so much. I mean, one of the things where people used to tell me like you're changing all the time, like um I'm going through different phases. I'm always trying new things and it was
Yeah.
confusing for other people, but I'm really successful in interrupting patterns.
Yeah. Great. I love that. That is such a
And
compliment, I would say.
yeah, fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it. I'm happy with always challenging myself because it really helped me jump from one box to the other and finally like realizing, okay, I don't want to leave this box right now. I like
Mm,
the people who are in here. Some of them are a bit spaced, but I like them and they're
mm,
positive and they give me positive vibes. And
mm.
I was surrounded by relationships where I give energy and I get energy back just by the sake of, because that's the community vibe. Sometimes
Yeah.
when you give energy into a space, it just increases the energy in the space, right? It's
Yeah.
not drained through some faucet somewhere
Yeah.
in some dark alley, but it's everyone is holding their own space and then
Mm.
kind of contributing to the energy that is there. And
Yeah.
that's so beautiful. Just
Yeah. It's
like
very powerful.
supporting and elevating each other. Oh, and yeah, and I think I'm working with like remotely. That's a big thing for me. I would love to be able to hop to this city and then visit this
Mm.
person here, and then hop to that city and visit this
Mm.
person here, and maybe do house calls as a coach. Like that's cool.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to move and not be stuck. Like
Yeah.
I like this flat. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous, and like it's home, but
Yeah.
it's never I'm never there, and I think I'm realizing that whatever I want to change my surroundings all the time.
Mm.
Maybe that is because I want to change me, and I'm kind of projecting that outside, trying to figure that out. But I'm
Mm.
definitely sure that I need change of scenery
Yeah.
just
I'm
to
the same.
be motivated and inspired yet
Yeah.
again and meet new things and expose myself to new things. And Berlin is great for that, but in the end, it's kind of same old, same old.
Yeah.
The people are great, but the rest is it's an aggressive, dark city that's most of the times gray sky and
Mm.
like
It's another form of, again, like pattern interrupt, I think. Just like traveling, changing scenery, moving things around. Like it's just a way to kind of like keep your mind like not getting too rigid in the same loop over and over.
some
It's
might
like
say restless.
some might say restless. I would
I'm not
say.
restless. I'm not restless. I'm definitely not restless. I love resting. I love meditating. I love resting. I
Mm,
adore a state of calm.
mm,
But I like my nervous system. That's like a goal, right?
mm,
Let's get to the pin that you said before. But then I would love to talk about um, how this, the level of your nervous system always coming back to the one that like the level of intensity of activation that you know when you were a child, and then
hmm.
you're trying to recreate that in your. I think we've talked about that, no?
Probably,
I know, like there's just
but I'm
this
not sure.
pattern where you're trying to re subconsciously trying to recreate a similar level of activation in your nervous system that you've known for most of your life because it's comfortable.
Right. Like
And
familiar.
then if like your parents were always fighting and there was always a lot going on, you were moving different friends, different people, blah 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 blah, then it's like a very high activation level, right?
Yeah.
So you always try to come back to that, but you can't sustain that necessarily if you're not in a benevolent state or
Mm,
like circumstance, I would say.
mm.
Um, and now by sorting out the things that really drain my energy, I feel good. I feel good in a state of let's get to it. Let's do things
Yes, me
left and
too.
right and give me more. Like sometimes
Yes.
I need to give myself a break, but it's beautiful. It's things happening. I have so much power that I don't have to hold back only because I switched out the things that were bad for me with things that are good for me.
Yes.
So it's
Yeah.
not that I need to, regulate myself down to a different level because I like it.
No, because you're
And
in
that,
alignment,
yeah,
I
true.
guess, in a sense, right? Like you're in alignment with what
Yeah.
you're doing. And it's just like there's no resistance in that in the same way. Because
Yeah.
before maybe you were like not fully in alignment, and that's why I felt everything felt difficult and
Oh,
harder. And like, it's like
yeah.
I see it as kind of like we're kind of like I see it as kind of like imagine like a Lego tower where
I
you
like
have
where
like
this
all
is
the
going.
Legos a bit like wonky like that, and we live like that, and then all of a sudden
Hmm.
it kind of like
Hmm.
clicks in, and it's like a
Hmm.
and it's like
Nice.
alignment, and from there it's
Let's
like
go.
fucking
Yes.
I'm a rocket. I can like just go
Yes.
go 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 because everything I do, how I am, who I am in the world. Again, like I practice what I
Mm.
preach. I am, I'm in alignment, and from there, it's like endless resource, endless energy,
That's a good
almost
thing.
like that.
I'm sometimes I'm struggling to bring also a bit of the struggles back in. Not struggles, but like challenges that are there to overcome.
Mm,
Sometimes I'm struggling a bit with I'm practicing what I'm preaching because
mm,
I'm also not preaching something too like a too intense lifestyle.
mm,
But sometimes it's hard to do the practice of meditation, for example,
mm,
if you're in a space that is very volatile.
mm,
So for the longest time, I was judging myself for not being able to work. I was like scared that maybe I'm not good at working. Maybe I'm a failure. Maybe I actually am a failure, but I wasn't aligned. Maybe I'm not good at meditation, and then beating myself up for like not being good at a meditation. That's insane.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's totally besides the
That's what
point.
we
That's a
do.
pattern
It's
that you
yeah,
gotta
it's
change.
ridiculous.
But we have self-love,
Yeah.
right? Self-love is gonna solve all of that.
Mm,
Like acceptance of what you're bringing to the table, acceptance of your story, reframing your story, and like realizing that it's you are beautiful.
yeah,
I am beautiful, and I
yeah.
am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm figuring out what I'm supposed to be figuring out,
Mm,
and at every moment, I'm good, and I can try to be the best version of myself in every
mm,
second. I don't have to wait until I have more time, or I
mm,
don't have to wait for permission, or I don't have to solve this conflict because now I gotta, set my boundaries and then I can try to be the best. No, be the best version of yourself now.
yeah. And it becomes easier and easier the more we love ourselves, right?
Mm.
Yeah,
I It does. Yeah.
it does.
It's a new pattern. It's a consciously chosen pattern that I like.
Yes, yeah. I like it too.
Oh, buddy, I love you.
Yeah. It becomes
Oh, he's having a hard time with the mic here.
yeah.
What did you
Yeah.
want to put a pin in?
Oh
Remind me.
yeah. So I thought it was funny. You mentioned kind of like that you find it hard in the city,
Hmm.
sometimes to like
You're
kind of
in London. I mean,
I'm in
that's
London.
like kind of.
So many people ask me like, how can you live in London? And how do you deal with it? And I'm from Sweden. I'm from the forest, I'm kind of like I grew up having nature close by all the time. And I miss nature. I really do. I love nature. I wish a lot of the time that I was closer to nature, um, but one thing that I realized is that I started my deepest meditation practice and my deepest kind of like conscious practice was when I moved to London 10 years ago. And I practice mindfulness and meditation every single day going into work on the tube in London. So the
Mm,
noise of the tube, the people, the rush, the stress, and I found like the stillness in that. Um, and that is something that actually has been again kind of a bit of a rocket fuel of a practice. And it does lead me to this. I heard someone talk about it the other day. I think it was yeah, it's like an intuitive psychic woman, Carrie Kay, who she was telling a story of a man who went to some place in India, I think, to like visit a big temple and like go
mhm.
meditate and it's gonna calm down. And he arrives there and the taxi drops him off and he's like, I'm in the wrong place because
So
there were
busy.
like cars and people and busy. And he's like, it can't be the right place. But then he goes in, he finds the place, he meets with the guru, and the guru says, like, if you can find peace and stillness here, you can find it anywhere. And that there was kind of like a conscious practice
It's a
in it.
challenge. Yeah, yeah.
And it is a challenge. And the more and more that I've been able to like self-regulate my nervous system, love myself, love the world, really, the more and more comfortable I am living in the city because every time I go outside, really, it's like an opportunity for me to look at my environment and like love it for what it is and love the people and notice like if I'm feeling overwhelmed, like am I looking at the people in the cars or am I looking at the beautiful little details of that tree over there or that bird over there, and like there is a lot of power in where we put our focus and our how we focus on our reality. um and we can choose to see the hustle and the bustle and the oh my god,
Yeah,
oh, and the
yeah.
overwhelm, or we can choose to see like wow, look at all these people. They are all like part of me, like we are all connected, we're all kind of the same consciousness, and I love them, and I love like like really truly stepping into that, like seeing myself in them, and seeing everything as a whole. And then I feel more connected, and then it makes it easier to live here. But having said that, I would love to live closer to nature eventually. But I'm very glad that I've been able to find peace and stillness and tranquility in such a busy place, because it does mean that I can kind of bring it with me wherever I go. And yeah, it's a good foundation.
I
But
like, yeah, I agree actually, and I think one of the major shifts was really this. I can be aware everywhere.
mm,
And especially when you feel like, okay, I can't meditate right now because it's too much,
Yeah.
that's when you should meditate.
Yeah.
Because it gets you in the realization that nothing is hurting you, nothing is
Yeah.
actually overwhelming you. It's just a bunch of noise.
Yeah.
And like even if the bus
Cessation.
is shaking or if it's tight or something, there is different states that you can leave for sure, like depending on your level of like how you feel in these closed up spaces.
Mm.
But this intensity you can reduce and you can breathe into it. And then yeah, like you said, I feel like you've just been lifting heavier weights, right? And then
Mm.
training yourself to be even like focused even in a very busy environment.
Mm.
I thought about the meditations. Like next week, I'm gonna just go live on TikTok in the morning at 8 and do live meditations for a couple of minutes
Amazing.
just to
Love that.
practice.
Fantastic.
And I actually thought about leaving my window open.
Mm.
I have a pretty quiet backyard apartment, but still there's some noise, right? There's like
Yeah.
people walking indoors, people getting bikes or whatever. Sometimes you hear honking. And I thought, like, I don't need this perfect environment as a noise because, like, you know, like whenever you do a meditation, then it's the soothing sounds and
Mm.
everything is there to be as good as possible to bring you into your environment. But it is also kind of disconnecting because
Yeah.
that's not the reality.
Sounds exactly. Sounds a part of life.
And then if you're sitting
Yeah.
in your apartment and you're not living alone, right? And then you hear a person cluttering in the kitchen, it's
Mm.
always so disturbing because it doesn't work with what I'm trying to create, and then there's already resistance.
Yeah.
But if it's just natural, like I'm
Yeah.
meditating in my backyard apartment, but I could also sit on the riverside and you would hear people screaming because they're playing football, and I'm still gonna do my meditation.
Yeah.
And just bringing that perspective as a more authentic perspective to meditation,
Yeah. I love
I
that.
think it's like it's possible to do it
Yeah,
in
it
the city.
is.
It's not like you're wrong or you're not good enough or you're too much spiraling to go be in like to go into present work. No, you can do it. It's
Mm.
just the expectation management, I feel like
Yeah.
you just need maybe you need a couple of more times of practice until you get into a state where you can really zone out. And
Yeah.
maybe you're never gonna get to that very deep meditative state that I only get when I'm, I don't know, close to water or something. Like depends on you, depends on the circumstances, but you can still do your present work and you can still
Yeah.
do your like self-awareness, emotional awareness, and kind of observance, which is, I guess, just a solution for so many things.
Yeah.
You can reach that, and yeah, I'm looking forward to these meditations and just see if people join in,
Sounds great.
and then try to share and try to get some feedback in. I wanted to talk to you about something that happened today.
Okay.
I got my first negative reviews. No, no, like I got my first
Oh
like
no.
I was bashed for my wording in a comment.
Okay.
There's like this social like content creator in Marlon, and he has a podcast which is called Divided by Zero, so
Okay.
which is you know which is not allowed. So you can't do that, and
You can't do that.
it's called Geteilt durch Null. He's gorgeous. He's just talking about life, his perception, and he's also doing a lot of healing work. And it's beautiful to listen to him because he's so authentic and just talking about stuff, right? And I was basically right at that time, I was going through a phase where I was doubting what I was doing.
Mm.
Like this, for example. I love to meditate to sounds like that. Like this is a helicopter. This is a gorgeous, funny thing that exists. We humans, we just built something that rotates and then we're flying through the air. Like, what is that? That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back to the point. He was basically, I was struggling with the point of why should I share my stuff when everything already has been said?
Right. Yeah. Oh, I
And
know that feeling. Yeah.
and then he was like saying something that I wanted to wanted to talk about myself, and so I just posted in the comments something like, "Hey, dude, I really this is driving like your content is driving me crazy. Whenever I feel like I want to share something, I see your video, and then I think, oh my God, he said it already." But like my phrasing was like, I like your shit, right? Something like
Mm.
that. Like,
Mm.
or I like the shit you're
Mm.
saying.
Yeah.
And then this woman is like, if it's shit, why are you like, why do you say you love it? Like, don't say it like that. You're devaluing his content. Basically like that. And I was like, oh, girl, I think you understood that wrong. And then it was like going on explaining mode, like kind of like, hey, like this is just another word for stuff, right? Or for topics. I like the topics
Yes.
that we're talking about. And then like cool shit, bro. Right?
That is so
It's like,
funny.
no, I understood you, but shit is shit. And I like this is kind of gotten in my head because I was really like I was a bit I was a at first I was laughing about it because it was like, oh, you're cute. And now I gotta say, okay, that was a bit like I didn't take her seriously enough to realize that yeah, fair enough. Okay, if you're really getting into it, like you shouldn't label it as shit because that's an like negative thing, and obviously
Mm.
it's something unbelievably beautiful that he's putting out there. Then again, I am not a person that is gonna take himself that seriously.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave that open for everyone else. And I was like, I'm kind of getting out that zone, and now I really, it's still in my head and I'm processing it, but it's yeah. I learned something about myself through that. So thank
Mm.
you, Beatrice or whatever.
Mm.
Um, and she was, yeah, it was a helper. It was definitely a helper for me to understand where I'm standing and what my way of communicating online was gonna be.
Mm.
And I'm definitely gonna like have an open eye for it if I'm like not polite or something in these settings, or if I can like what the context is and how I'm gonna behave. But what I was saying is basically how he's talking in this podcast. So I was kind of relating to him on a, although he doesn't know me, but like on a
Yeah. Like
nice,
speaking his
friendly
language.
level, and I
Yeah.
felt totally fine with that. I mean, this anchoring song in the beginning of the workshops that we're doing right now, the program, they said you should pick an anchoring song that is going to anchor you to your future personality, right?
Yeah.
And my anchoring song is Kung Fu Fighting.
Oh, I
Everybody was
love it.
kung fu fighting. Oh, it's so gorgeous. I listen to it every morning now. It's
That
just
is
like,
so good.
it's beautiful. You're gonna go for it, but it's a journey and it can be fun. Like, don't take it too
Yes.
seriously. We're just all
Yes.
playing around with stuff here.
I
And
love that. Yeah,
yeah,
there's so much in what you just said in terms of like, yeah, expressing ourselves consciously does matter. Like with the words that we use, they do matter. And but at the same time, it's like let's play and let's not take things so
yeah,
seriously and
yeah.
like
Like it's
it's
nothing
okay.
personal, Beatrice. Like
Yeah.
you're a good person. You're okay.
Yeah.
Um, what I read in another post though was um she said something that is like a couple of signs for you feeling confident. I also sent you this one on Instagram, I think. And one of the
Yeah.
things
I'm
she
just gonna
said,
close my sorry, I'm just gonna close my
sure,
curtain a bit because it's so sunny.
sure. Do you hear me still?
Yep.
Cool. So basically, she was saying that one of the signs that you're getting more comfortable in yourself is that you'd rather be misunderstood than to explain yourself to someone who isn't interested in understanding you. You'd
Can you say that
rather,
again?
you'd rather be misunderstood than to explain yourself to someone who isn't interested in understanding you. And I really like that. And I realized that was a pattern with Beatrice,
Right.
right? Like I was trying to explain myself
Yeah.
and I don't want to anymore.
Yeah, I
Like
love that.
I'm okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we
I
don't
don't need
have
to get
to
into this. Yeah,
be
we really
understood
don't
by
have to.
everyone
Yeah.
all the time.
Glad for your efforts though, but and I really want to, yeah, like you said, all the time. I don't need to, yeah, it's a beautiful pattern. Let me
Yeah.
know what you think about that.
I mean, yeah, and such a good practice of like letting go of like we can't control what other people think about us. And like, especially as we're posting more content and things like that, people might
Hmm.
be like, there are people out there that's gonna be like judging the crap out of like what we do. But it's just like, can you get to a point within yourself where it's like if I don't, again, like if I don't practice, if I don't do this, I will never get to a level. So, like, if in the process people are going to judge me and think things, and even when I feel like I'm finished or whatever, like when I'm at a
Yeah,
level that I'm happy with, people will still,
yeah,
judge me. People will still think things. And it's just like, I can't control it and just like
yeah.
let go of that. Like, it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay that people
I,
judge.
I mean, I saw the reviews. You know what I mean? Like the feedback that you got, right? Also, the workshop that you did was amazing. So I imagine that all the other people are also giving you similar feedback. There's so much positive feedback coming in.
Mm,
Like I feel like since starting to share,
yeah.
there's just so many messages and comments of like even if there's comments who are like, I'm talking about a pattern, right? And I didn't research it like in a academic psychological way, and then
Mm-mm.
kind of, like produce content out of that. I was just talking about something that I read about and then putting it out there to
Mm.
kind of open a discussion. And then this one person was answering and giving me some insights. Like she was talking about that's like this pattern that you just explained is called constructive, like is a pattern also in explained in constructivism. And this is like how, oh, and then she explained it in like five comments, and she took the time to give her wisdom in there in a
Right.
positive note, like in a
I love
positive this,
that.
and I was like, thank you for teaching me. How gorgeous
Yeah.
is that? I'm like, it's really always about the delivery.
Yes.
And it was just so positive. She was just sending it in there to expand on my point.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. It was not like, what are you talking about? You don't know anything about that. You, like, like little shit.
Yes.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was beautiful.
That's so good. I want to see, yeah, that when you see that in the world, like I want to see more of that in the world. Like people actually just like, how can I contribute to this
Yeah.
instead of like, how can I take something from this and like
Yeah.
make it like you're bad and I'm
Yeah.
good and I'm smart and you're stupid. It's just like, no, how can I, yeah, if you do want to add something, how can I like, yeah, consciously contribute to this conversation in a way where everybody just gets something good out of it.
Benefits. Yeah,
Everyone
exactly.
wins, you know?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
glad for Beatrice like she was my first. I'm happy for that. I had like an easy in. But
I love that.
there's also people texting me like, yes, you go with the daily sharing king.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Like, geez, these energies. It's really funny. I really enjoy it for now. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm really
Great.
looking forward to what's just gonna. I mean, we have different styles in posting, right?
Yeah.
Like you're definitely producing your content. Like you can, I can see that you put a lot of energy into that, into the cutting, into the lighting, into the setup. That's a different approach. How
Mm.
is that like working for you?
I mean, it's yeah, it's working well. I quite enjoy it. It's quite easy for me to set it up and to work with it that way. And I guess in a sense it's yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe it feels in a way more familiar to me when I think about like what I did with my music and things like that.
Hmm.
It would be, trying to like yeah, but at the same time, I would love to also upload content that is a bit more, just like me walking on the street, me talking to the camera, like, but I'm trying things out. So I'm very much like I'm using my Instagram right now as a complete playground.
Hmm.
And I'm just gonna do like what I find fun. And I like setting up the space. I find it fun to like,
Cool.
put on the lighting, do the thing, edit the stuff. Um, and I'm learning as I do it, and I'm learning like what do I enjoy about it? How can I bring it into other types of content that I want to make? So it's all just like a journey, really. I just see it as a complete exploration, and would love to be able to mix it up and also make content that is, easier in a sense to make or a bit more raw in a sense, like where I can yeah, just pick up the phone and say some stuff and post this straight away, like a bit unfiltered in a sense. But yeah, yeah. What about you?
I think I'm going with the unfiltered,
Yeah.
like what you're saying. I'm also playing around, like the freedom of just, go like whenever I feel like there's a part of me who is afraid of that, I'm tapping into it and trying to be a soft version of that, or maybe the full version of that. So the other day I was sharing a video that I recorded in the shower, which sounds weird at
Yeah,
first,
I
but it
saw
was
that. It's
it was
awesome.
it was really just about like sharing a ritual. And
Mm,
then I went through the whole cycle of, ah, this is pretentious. Why am I sharing it? Why would you share a sacred ritual? It's sacred for a reason. Put your phone away, blah, 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 right?
yeah,
Like I was going through the whole phase. And then
yeah,
I realized, no, this is important to me. This is
yeah.
important because I want to practice and I want to share. So yeah, I posted that, and on TikTok till this date, I think it has one view. I think it's just that content that TikTok promotes.
Right.
Like all my other at this point, all I think all my other productions, which is basically me talking about stuff on this, like just filming myself, have around 800 views. Oh yeah,
Hmm.
and the video that I posted today got muted, actually.
Did it?
Yeah, because of,
Yeah.
I guess, the music in the background. Okay.
Mm.
And the shower video has 2 views. It's
Algorithm did not like.
it's interesting. It's interesting. It's like
Very
figuring
interesting.
out, okay, what can I share? What is important to me to share? And how can I share it in a way that I can actually work with the system?
Yeah.
And I think I like the unfiltered content because I don't know I don't know what it is. I still don't really believe in the diagnosis, but I have ADHD on paper.
Mm.
So quite often the way that I like to go through life is that I do things on a whim, right?
Mm.
And kind of impulsively. So if I see something, I'm going to do it and then it's done. And then
Yeah.
I'm happy. So that's what I'm doing with my content.
Love that.
Like if I have a spark, if I thought about something, if I thought about something that is like worth sharing and that is something that I learned about myself, I'm just, trying to get out there and then posting exactly these things because what is worth sharing? I guess we're gonna figure it out. And then so I just post that and then sometimes I get really nice reviews and sometimes like stuff like this happens. But the more effort I put into it, the less results I've actually gotten out of it
Right. Interesting.
for now.
That's the
So,
thing of like working with yourself and not against yourself. Like you have to figure out like how can I, given who I am and what I like, what feels natural to
mhm.
me, and to work making content so that it works with who you are and not like having to go out of your way to like, I mean, it's just, yeah, you're just again aligning your life, right?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna step up my game slowly in terms of like we have these mics here and the podcast is I
Mm,
think pretty good quality. Maybe at
mm,
some point put up a camera and then have a better video of it or something. But for now, I'm just gonna get these little mics,
yeah,
that you can put on and while you're filming with your phone.
yeah,
And then that's gonna be it for now. And just,
yeah.
slowly increase. And I don't have a problem with posting multiple times a day. And I think although I was always against social media. I hated social media for so long.
Same. I
And
was so judgy. I was
TikTok,
one of
I
the
was like,
judgy
I'm
ones.
never gonna get on TikTok. Like, never.
Yes.
I'm never gonna use that. That's like that's a disease. Like that's making people sick. They just and
Yeah, I feel
it's not
you.
about the platform. Maybe okay, honestly, I still think that some of the ways the algorithm works is not good. Like
Sure.
especially when it comes to big headlines, etc. And then people just being like the shitty newspapers that are just like
Uh,
big headline about this. We don't respect celebrities' private space and blah blah blah. Just
hmm,
I'm not really a fan of that.
no.
But for the case of producing your content and reaching your tribe, I really like it. Like
Yeah,
that it's not just the people who follow you already, but it's like just spread out into the world. That's really
yeah,
nice.
yeah. It's a lot
Yeah,
of potential in it. And yeah, you can, again, you can use it for your benefit and it can be a beautiful thing, a beautiful tool. That's what it is really. It's a tool. Like, how do we use the tool? But yeah, I used to be the same, just like super judgy about it and just like, why do people like waste their time with like this stuff and like go out in the world and
yeah,
but it's
see the
like
world.
but it's like how much was I resisting in that of
Hmm.
like, hey, I wish I could do that. I wish I could have a platform and find my tribe and find my community and have
Good
support in
point.
what I do.
Good point. I feel
So on
yeah.
some level, it was like projection, I'm sure. And on another level, it was probably just like not having realized, yeah, that it had value to me and choosing to see it as a, yeah, from the perspective of like, this is poison, this is bad,
Mm,
instead of like, oh, cool, here's a tool. I could use it for bad. I could also use it for good.
for good,
Yeah.
exactly. And if only the people for bad use it, then
Yeah. So we gotta come in and help out a little bit to balance that.
yeah, I like that part. Like we can use it for good. I mean, if this
Yeah.
is something that is helping us, why should I boycott something that is going to be used anyway? And then
Yeah. Nothing's
might as
black
well
and white, right?
put something good in it. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I still haven't decided how I feel about it in the end, but yeah, this is good. Hey, what are you thinking? Like, should we wrap it up for now? I think this is a lot of,
Yes, yeah. I mean, yeah,
you know.
we had a tried to keep the discipline of 1 hour. We've already gone over a bit. So
Oh, we did.
yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
oopsie, that went fast.
But it was very yeah, it was very fun and
I
easy to
liked it.
talk.
Yeah, a lot. Thanks
Yeah.
for sharing your passion and a newly found profession with
Hey,
us.
thank
Thank
you
you very
too.
much, Ellie.
Thank you, Leon. Enjoy
Okay.
this. Good luck on your journey. I'm
Good luck on
excited to
yours
see
too. Talk to
what
you
you
soon.
will do. Talk to you soon.
That was it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to support us, then subscribe and like on YouTube or Spotify, and hope to see you next time.